my first question to you is what inspires your DJ name, and why did you want to be a part of this in the industry in general?
That's a good question. So, how I got my DJ name, it's actually a funny story. Many years ago, we had a medical, when the guys come around and do blood tests
Yes.
at your office, and
Mhm.
and a friend of mine was with me, and we were having our blood tests, and he said to me, "Hey man, you should be called DJ Blood Test," and he was like, just laugh. We're just laughing and being silly, and then he said, "No, DJ B Type. That should be your name." And it was a good friend of mine, and that became the nickname that he used to call me all the
Mhm.
time. It was always like, "Hey B Type, hey B Type," and then it sort of just stuck with me and became this like alias of mine as this DJ B Type that I just used, and yeah, it's just been a name that I've sort of adopted for many
It,
years.
it
So
honestly makes sense. It's weird, but it also makes sense in a way because of how you play and what kind of music you play. So, and also my other question to you is, what inspired you to do a label? Because I didn't know that you do a label. You created your own record label. So what inspired that?
well, it actually hasn't launched yet. So it's still there's a couple of things that are still work in progress. So you're
Hmm.
letting out the secret now.
Yes, I'm sorry.
No, that's cool. So, yeah, I think it's something that it was always just been a passion to do, and
Mhm.
I've got so many friends that make amazing music,
Mhm.
and I think really battle to get their music onto the right platforms,
Mhm.
and so this idea to create a platform for other artists and younger artists to be able to launch their music in a way that can actually get like a bigger global reach was the
Mhm.
thought, and
Yeah.
so we have some opportunities to do that, and hopefully it launches soon and it's successful, and it gives artists just an opportunity to get their music out to the world.
Because sorry to cut you off, but I think it's gonna be great because you're really doing something great for the culture. um, so
No, thanks. Yeah, so it's called Revision, the record label. So Revision Records. There is an Instagram page, and we're actually doing a couple of events and building a couple of things around it. But we'll definitely release more on that in the coming weeks.
brilliant. Um, my favorite part. Let's talk about my favorite part because you literally are one of my favorite artists ever. So so I'm not
Lens.
joking. But anyway, you are the co-founder of one of my favorite labels and talent agencies. If you still are, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tenfold. Right. So what inspired that, and what's your process when you look for artists? Like, yeah.
Sure. So Tenfold came about a good couple of years ago. Actually, a family member of ours. His name's Mitch. He lives in New Zealand,
Hmm.
and he's got a brand there called Audiology Touring, and he does some really big shows in New Zealand and that side of the world. Everything from electronic to rock, basically across different genres. And we started talking one day many years ago, and we said, hey, you know, how cool would it be if we had this platform that we could get artists from South Africa over to your side of the world,
Hmm.
and vice versa, get artists over here.
Hmm.
And we just sort of came up with this platform called Tenfold, and it was a very much something that just started out of nothing, really.
Hmm.
Never intending it to be an agency or anything like that. And yeah, it's just become this platform where I've been super lucky to be able to work with artists that I really admire and I really love, and we've been able to just build this platform organically, which has allowed us to do a lot of other things with it. So it's not, obviously it's an agency. We represent some really talented artists, and we're really lucky to do so.
Hmm.
But it's also given us opportunities to work with, big events and festivals and record labels, and sort of give credibility to this little, business or little organization that we have here in Cape Town. It's allowed us to give a little bit of credibility with, agents internationally, festivals internationally. And so, yeah, something that sort of started completely by chance, and it's turned into, I hate to call it an agency. It's more of a family of like-minded artists that sort of have gravitated together.
Because I think it's very dope, and I think it's very special what you guys are doing. It's really remarkable. So what is your process like when you are looking for artists in general? Like, I'm not saying you're looking for people, but I'm generally saying I'm just generally asking for the people that generally want to look for, like, not specifically your label, but your family agency. But in general, what are the do's and don'ts, in a sense, if you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's always been about working again with artists that we just really love and we admire, and it's always been about like, hey, that guy's doing really cool stuff. Like, we just want to do cool stuff with you together. So there aren't any like major rules. I think we definitely are. The artists that we do work with are, again, artists that are doing interesting things. Some of them are producers, some of them are not producers. They're just great DJs. But just guys that really have a great attitude, are wanting to align with a brand that we can both work together to do to push the scene forward. I think is probably the thinking. And so again, we've just sort of gravitated towards artists. It's never been this intentional thing of like let's go and just try and sign a whole bunch of people. Like, it's definitely not what the intention is at all. And there's different seasons that we've had different artists join us and then move on as well. And that's also special because you get to at least help impart a couple of things, hopefully, in their career. But yeah, I think we're looking for like-minded artists that want to do cool stuff and want to and I think also that align themselves to like ethical promoters and events and want to do things the right way.
100%. My other question to you is, what is the perfect rollout as an artist, an up-and-coming artist, if that makes sense?
That's a big question. What do you mean by rollout?
There are two parts. The perfect rollout, like, I mean, when I say like tracks and also like how to present yourself as an artist.
Sure.
Those, yeah.
I think like making music is so subjective, and I'm definitely not the expert on how to make the best track or how to go about making. There's so many. People are just so talented, and I understand all of that. If you want it, but I think for an artist that's coming up, because there's so many DJs these days and so many artists trying to break into the scene. It's not like, I think when I started DJing, there was a handful of DJs in Cape Town. You knew all of them. We knew each other. Now there's just tons, and I think it's tough to break into the scene. The advice I could just give any sort of young upcoming DJ or artist is be credible in what you do. Practice your skills. Like, make sure that you can DJ or you can play music effectively. About like track selection and what music to play at the right event and at the right time. I think it's all about, when you get that chance to play in front of an audience, it's about making sure that you remember that your job as a DJ is to make people dance. So I think like your success will come out of playing gigs that you actually do well at, when people enjoy what you're doing and they leave and go, hey, I danced, I really had fun. But I think also what's super important is to align yourself to different crews. I think everywhere in the world, you have different crews of friends that get together and start these little, brands or events or festivals or parties, and it doesn't matter how big they are. But I think it's important that you show face at these events, the ones that you're interested in. You show a willingness to support these guys in what they do, and strike up those friendships. Strike up, be part of those crews where you can say, okay, this is my home. I want to do some cool stuff with these people. And I think that's the way to do it. I think it's tough when you just you just expect to get gigs, send out a mix and say, well, why are you not booking me? I think it's more than that these days. It's about being with the right people, having the right energy, and things will come. And have patience.
Yes, 100%. And to add two things to add, I think this Instagram thing, right? Instagram is dope, but like you need to be able to be, like you mentioned, you need to be able to make connections that are like pure, like pure to you, and making sure that it aligns with what kind of sounds you want to make,
Yeah.
but also make sure that it challenges you as well. You don't want to just stay in one hole, if that makes sense.
Totally.
You don't want to stay in one bubble, and you because and also people mustn't be like, I want to be managed, but they don't know, they don't have any content to be like, oh, this is super special, this is something I can work with, yeah, if that makes sense.
No, totally. I think there's this perception that, hey, if I can join an agency, or if I can be a part of this crew, like then I'm going to get loads of gigs and I'm going to be amazing. But it's got nothing to do with that. I think it's really about the artist, and what they do, and being appealing to people.
Yeah.
And if people love your vibe and they love what you do and you're authentic, you're a good person, and all of these things, you put them together, I think like that's when, like, the magic happens. That's when you have an opportunity. And I think like social media these days does unfortunately play a part of,
Yeah.
of all of this.
Mhm.
These days it's about your whole package. But I think for me, it's definitely something I don't worry about, and I'm definitely not as young as I used to be, and maybe I don't care about it as much anymore. But I do see the pressure on artists. But I think, like, again, I see some artists that are doing exceptionally well, and they're not spending loads of time on Instagram or coming up with posts every week. People have seen that unique part of what they do, and I think that's important. I think like don't copy what other people are doing. I think be unique, and do it for the love of the music, do it for the fun. And I know that can sometimes sound cheesy, but I think it's true.
It's not
Like
easy at all.
it's like when you're having fun making music or DJing or whatever, other people will feel that, and then it's like this amazing thing that you get to do, but with having fun. When it becomes a business, and it's like, well, I've got to do my Instagram post this morning and whatever. Like, I think like that's, for me, that's not why I love music. That's not why I have done what I've done for many years. It's literally because it's fun, makes other people have fun, and it's something that is not too serious.
100%. 100%. You just need to know how to move it. You don't need to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect, but you do need to know. You need to know the basics. That's a given. My other question to you is, what would you tell your younger self that you would, what would you tell your younger self, who would like, who wanted to be a DJ, or who wanted to be in the scene, or who wanted to be whoever, like, what would you say to them?
That's such a big question. So I've got kids, and my kids are now at the age where, for many years I've had my CDJs and my turntables and everything in my little studio, and I'm like, come on, get into the music, and they're like, it hasn't been their thing. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push it, and just suddenly they've got into it, and they're playing instruments, and they're playing guitar and drums and all these things. And I think like what I would tell myself if I could go back and do things again, I think I've been very blessed to have grown up and had a lot of opportunities, to DJ and to make music and to do all these cool things again with other artists that I admire.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I would do if I could do differently is learn more instruments. Like, I kick myself that I haven't. To be honest, I'm actually learning how to play drums at the moment. Like, I'm starting as a newbie. My son and I played in a band for many years, but I played guitar, and so there was always a bit of music in my life. But I would go back and say, learn as many instruments or learn as many things musically as I could, which I didn't do, which I think would probably have helped me to produce music can do things faster and do all these things that I haven't been able to do fully. Yeah.
To add to that, for me, I would be like the biggest lesson for me would be like two things. Would be like, one, it would be don't be so hard on yourself.
Yes.
Two, if you want to get something done, get it done. Like, don't be so, don't be like, don't wait for too long.
I think those are really good, and I think probably something to add to that would be, don't be scared to go and take a leap of faith and do something. Like, don't be scared to think that. Don't think that you can't do this. Like, you know, if you want to go and do something, like, just do it. Like have the confidence to say, like, you know, what's the worst that can happen? It could be that somebody could say no, or I could fail, or whatever. Like, who cares? Just do it again, you know? So,
yeah, because sorry to cut you off, but I think it's like, it's like, that's the biggest issue with the industry. Like, that's one of the biggest issues, because people are overthinking, and people be like, I don't think this song is great, but like, it's your first track, right? Or your first set, or whatever, your multiple sets. So you need to just level up, and then we'll see. You know, you can't just be like perfect all the time, because there's no such thing as perfect.
Absolutely. And also, I think that's the key thing. Like, even in music and like DJ sets, like, I hate it when I hear a flawless DJ set. Like, and people are good at DJing. It's like, I want to hear a DJ. I want to hear a set like some of my favorite DJs in the world. Never mix flawlessly, and there's always a mistake, or there's always a, like, that's cool. Like, you know, there can be a little bit of an offbeat here, or there can be a little bit of a, you know, like, then I know that it's real, and that brings like such an additional like emotion to the set as well. So I agree with you. Like, yeah, it's okay to be real.
Yes, 100%. My other question to you is, what what is your take on like sets, and like, because I saw this thing on the UK thing, right, where they say they're no longer doing lineups before they release the flyer and stuff like that. But I feel like, as a person that's gonna enter the event, I need to know who's playing and who, you know, so that I know, okay, I understand why they're doing it, but I feel like, what's the fun in that, in the sense of, like, if I go see my favorite artist like yourself or whoever, and I'll be like, oh, this person's playing at whatever time, and I really want to see this person, and then I'm like, okay, cool. I don't see the problem. Like, I really don't see the issue, because but I guess people want to do whatever they want to do, in a sense. Like, I feel like, I just feel like people just want to change the way that they want to, they change the way that they want to do things.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, I actually, I love this concept of doing an event, or releasing an event with no lineups on.
Yeah.
You know, growing up originally, like years ago when I started DJing, it was never about the DJ. Like, the flyer actually was the thing that attracted you, and then there happened to be a couple of DJs on the lineup. But there's a part of that which, if you go to that event, it's about exploring, right? And you be like this hope that you're going to hear something that maybe you wouldn't have intended wanting to hear. And I think, because I think people gravitate obviously to their favorite DJ, their favorite artist, their favorite event, and you can sort of get into a loop of, that's what you just follow and that's what you listen to, and then you're not open to other sounds, you're not open to other experiences. I'm actually playing. I'm gonna do a little plug here, but I'm actually playing tomorrow night under my other alias, which is DJ Roulette, which is my secret house and disco alias. But I'm playing. There's a new venue in Sea Point called Baby, which is a really cool new venue. Amazing people that have opened it, but it's all around disco and house, and like really good mature music, but there's no advertising in the lineups. So there's some great DJs playing tomorrow night. Bruno Morfett's playing, I'm playing, and a couple of others. And but no, we're not advertising the lineup, and I think that's super cool. And people, come to the venue, have the best time, and there'll be great music. But tomorrow night's not about DJ Roulette or Bruno Morfett. Like, we're there to make the evening, a great experience.
Yeah.
But it's not about the DJ, and I think that's super cool.
But it can work for certain. It
Sure.
can work for certain brands, but for big brands, no.
No, look, I'm saying I love that, but for sure, even the events and festivals, that I'm a part of, it is, there's two sides of it. There are also there's shows, right? There are also people that go like, I want to go see that artist because it's a show and they're going to be performing, and
Yes.
So I get it. I think they both have value and they both have merit, and yeah, it's to release a festival and not put a lineup on is like, that's pretty bold, and it's not a huge risk. But I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I was like very hectic about it, but I was like, since you gave me some insight in this, maybe I can change my mind. This is why we have these conversations, because these are important. My other question to you is, what's like, in your opinion, what makes a great artist, in the sense of like, just since like, what makes a great track in your perspective? Not in a production space, not in a like, in general, like, what makes your if you were to make a track that represents who you are as an artist and who you are as a person and who you are as a dad, how would it sound, and what energies would you create, if that makes sense?
It's such a big question, because my mind is I can never sit still, and I'm like, there's so many things going through my head, and
Yes.
I love all genres of music, and so like, I might be in a mood that I go, geez, I want to make I just want to make like a rock. I want to make a rock track, a rock song, like that's super heavy. Or there's times where, I love breakbeat and electro, and probably listen to it all the time. And so like, I think like, that's a good part. But I think like the essence of it, if I am making a track, or if there's a track that like appeals to me, there's got to be like, it can't be boring. It can't be like super, like repetitive. Like, for me, it's got to be something that's got a bit of funk in it. It's got a little bit, that's like a good bass line, probably like a breakbeat type of track that like, it's something that makes you just want to tap your foot and go like, okay, no, like I need to get up, something with energy. I think that's important. And that doesn't have to be fast or slow. It can be, it can just be an element to the track that I think, but my problem is that I'm in a different mood all the time. So I'm like, right now I want this type of track, tomorrow I want this type of track. So yeah.
Okay, no problem. Sorry. So I'm like, for me, it would be like hard, like not super hard, but like techie, because I've been in a techie field for a long time. It's like crazy. So it would be like similar to Lady M, like sound, but like a little bit harder, but not too hard, if that makes sense. Because I don't like a track that's too hard or too like. I like a track that has character, like, because if a track doesn't have character, then why am I listening to it and why am I buying it?
I think that's such a good example. Lady M is an amazing producer, and yeah, I think such a range from like deep house to proper techno.
Yes.
Like, I get it. Like,
it makes sense. It makes sense, because I feel like this music industry is so good, but like there's so many people that have the amount of flavor, but they don't want to like they don't want to broaden their flavor, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
it's like it's so bad because I feel like why not? Because I feel like it would make you better as a person to make you grow as a person because I feel like for because you have an alias. I don't know why you decided to do an alias. You could just do both, but I understand why. But
I think so like yeah, I love playing techno. I love playing house music.
uh-huh.
And I think DJ Roulette was just, you do get, I'm probably more known for playing more techie stuff and techno
Hmm.
and as B type. And I think, yeah, DJ Roulette was a way for me to like just be completely different
Hmm.
and be completely different space and not have to get, this expectation that it's going to be this techno sound. But it gives me a little bit more freedom to just play some house music. And but to be honest, often when I even play a DJ B type set, um, I incorporate
House.
other sounds. I get no problem dropping a house track in the middle of a techno set, or dropping like breakbeat in, and or an old school sort of anthem or whatever it may be. Like,
Yeah.
I think just it's got to keep it interesting, right, and make people
Yes,
dance.
I think what's coming up, like, for me, you're right. You've got to um, keep it interesting, keep it lovely. Like the thing is, the artist that I feel like is truly doing incredible things besides you, uh, um, is Mila Rose. Because Mila, I don't know what's in her orbit. I had the opportunity to talk to her, but um, and it's crazy to think, it doesn't matter how long you've done things, it just matters how passionate you are and how much you're willing to put in,
No,
if that makes sense.
yeah, totally. I mean, Mila, I think's got such a she's got such a good path to success, if I can say that,
Yeah.
because she's just got a great attitude, so much energy, which is amazing, and she's just keen to do cool stuff again. And so yeah, I agree. I think she's doing some really cool stuff, and she's definitely going to be around for a while.
Yes. Because I feel like, um to close off that point, is I feel like artists nowadays need to be more creative, be more original, like you said, be more them, not be like this
No,
very.
totally, and that's what when you talk about like the whole tenfold thing and how we look at artists, it's totally like that. I think all the artists that we have on the roster are all so unique in what they do,
Yeah.
and they don't copy anyone. There's not like they just like they stay in their lane and they do stuff because they're passionate about it. I
Yeah.
think that's what makes people appealing.
Yeah.
And like you can look at from Mila Rose to Das Kapital to
Yeah.
Ryan Hill
Yeah.
to Darren Statler.
Yeah.
These are all very different artists,
Yeah.
but they're doing cool stuff in their world,
Yeah.
which is cool, and they're
100%.
not copying.
Yes, 100%. Because there's so much, like, um I used to be a big fan of Afrotech and Afro House because now I'm a huge fan of break beats and drum and
Yes,
bass and all that stuff.
yes,
But the reason why I've changed because it's so much copycat, so much. There's no uniqueness. So I'm like, why am I playing this track? Why am I playing this? Like, even though the venues have to align with the venue, but like I'm not gonna play a venue that I have to play songs that I don't like
yeah.
just because I have to be paid. No, 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 because I feel like being paid is a blessing, but also like you have to understand I'm here to show you what I got, but also here to show you what I can give you that you haven't heard, if that makes sense.
No, totally, and I think I've seen it a good couple of times where somebody will want to book an artist because they like that artist's vibe and their social media presence, and they'll go like, I mean, artists in the agency that will play a certain genre, we'll get requests saying, "Hey, can this DJ play this type of music at our event?" And we're like, "That's not what they do." So yeah, I get you, and like, I don't think it's about, pay me to do this. I think the artists, or at least the artists that we work with, are artists that are passionate about what they do, and so they're going to play the music that they play.
100%. Speaking about payment, Arats, because I feel like it's really crucial and really a really unspoken thing. What is the process in your perspective? What is the process on booking, payment fee, and how does that process work for you guys? If that makes sense.
You mean me individually, or just
Both.
in general?
Both.
Yeah, look, I think as an artist, I mean, first and foremost, if you're playing to have fun, like that for me, I think is important. But there are artists that are doing this as a full-time profession, and they're doing a job, right? As much as they're having fun, they're booked to play at your festival or your event, to enhance your event, to be a part of that package that then in turn sells tickets. So whenever a promoter's doing an event and they're selling tickets at the door or whatever, and they're booking a lineup, the expectation is that those artists get paid for the set that they deliver, and there must be an expectation that the artist is going to take that seriously, and that they're going to do their best, and they're going to bring a quality show, because that's what the promoter wants. But I think I think it's important. I think it's something that we should speak about. It's part of the process. I think it's something that, when you speak to a promoter, there's a discussion and there's an agreement on what that interaction is going to be, right? The fee, the time, the place, the venue, the tech rider, the hospitality rider, all of these things that go with this booking. And the expectation is that the promoter, gets what they pay for, if that makes sense. And there's an expectation that the artist needs to get remunerated for their performance. And I don't think that needs to be shied away. I think that is the fact. For artists that are doing this professionally, or artists that are doing this because it's part of their income or part of their lifestyle, or even if they're doing it for fun, but they're enhancing a performance, enhancing an event or a festival or whatever, then I think it's fair, and people should be paid.
Yeah, I think so. But I feel like the artists are overcharging, or what's the minimum, if that makes sense.
It's such a tough question, because I think it depends on the artist, right? And I think it depends on. I think you build up a reputation, like I think you build up your brand over time based on how you play, how long you played, whether you produce, what value you're bringing to this performance. I think it's something that you build up over time. So obviously, if you're a brand new DJ that's never played before, you're probably going to have to go in and you're not going to be commanding fees. It's going to be, hey, I just want to come and play in your venue. Trust me, I played many DJ sets for free. Because I just wanted to go play, or wanted to play at that event, or wanted to play, and that's cool, But I think as your profile builds, there needs to be, you need to be paid what you're worth. I do think, though, that globally, I think there's been this just crazy jump of what artists are earning. If you look at big international DJs, there's some artists that are earning millions of dollars. And they've built their brand, and their brand is big enough, and their brand can command that. But I think, at least locally, artists need to understand that we're still in this little tiny island called Cape Town. We're not, and so you've got to make sure that your fee is in relation to what you're worth, or what you can deliver, and I think that's important. So what that number is will differ depending on the artist.
And sorry, I keep doing this to you. Sorry.
No.
So I'm like, to close that point. I think I agree, 100% agree. But also, people must just understand that it's a business. It's how you approach and your attitude to towards the promoters and everybody around you that really matters and really makes a difference whether they're going to pay you or not, because you know attitudes and the people that you're surrounded by really matter, because that will either break or make or break you, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, totally. I think you are what your reputation is, you know, and so how you conduct yourself is so important. Yeah, I've seen some artists have a very short career because they've just not conducted themselves in a way that's, you know, morally or ethically correct. And then other artists that have been around for 25, 30 years and they are still playing in this town and are still rocking it and are super well respected. So it's about how you conduct yourself. You're totally right.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna do three more, and I'll let you know. I'll let you go. I'm sorry.
No, cool. This is awesome.
Okay. My other question to you is, what is like the like, have you ever had that moment where your freak out moment, and how did you deal with that, like as an artist, as a person, how did you deal with that, if that makes sense?
I have a freak out moment every time I play a DJ set. I mean, like often. I mean, you know, I've been playing. It's gonna make me sound so old, but I've been playing for like 20 something years
Wow.
of DJ, and and every DJ set, like if I play a festival, you know, I mean, I play. You know, my last festival set was Origin Festival,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the most butterflies, and I was still nervous, and so I'm still freaked out before I played. But
Uh,
I think that's amazing because it keeps you on your toes, and I never take for granted how amazing this opportunity is to be able to play music for other people on cool stages, in front of amazing people, friends, etc. So the answer is every single time I play. Still.
So for me, I learned how to there are two things I learned how to control my nerves and stuff. Because I'm like, yo, if you want to stay in this game for a long time, you have to learn how to control your like nerves, because then your nerves are gonna go take over you. The one thing I learned is like breathe, you'll be fine.
Yeah,
And secondly, enjoy yourself. Just remember that no one's there, but also remember what you're doing.
totally. And so I would add to that. I would say make sure you're confident that you know how to like plug in and start playing. And then the second thing is make sure that your opening track is a banger. And like, because the minute you play that first track, then you're like, okay, cool. Things are going to be okay. Yeah,
Yeah, make sure it's not too bangy though. Make sure it's not too bangy,
sure.
because it depends on the set time. It depends on there's so many aspects that people
No,
don't.
totally, totally.
Um, my second to last question to you is, um, in your opinion, like what do you want to see more of in the music scene?
Sure. Like I'd love to see more collaboration, I think, and that may sound like, yeah, I've heard that before, but like I think like more people working together and like myself included, like doing cool things with other brands, or maybe some brands and people connecting that maybe like would be unexpected.
Yeah.
You know, like people that you wouldn't think maybe would
Yeah.
connect. I think like especially in South Africa, I think we have quite an overtraded scene. So there's like so much happening, which is amazing for those people going out.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be too much and too much of the same, or too many things happening. So I think like, yeah, just more collaboration with different people and different promoters and different artists, bringing something fresh. Because I think like we can get stuck in the same old thing, you know, the same old events and So yeah, I think collaboration would be a big one.
There are two things. There are two things I would like to see more of. Like one, I think there should be more like surprises of people like being like, oh, I've surprises on in the sense of like back to backs, or
Yeah,
or something that's out of the ordinary, like for example, let's say I play with you, that people don't realize, oh, she's playing with this person, like something like that.
we need to do a back to back. We need to make that happen.
I
We have to.
was just
No,
joking.
but we should. That would be cool. We must do
I
that.
was just
No,
joking, but yeah.
let me know.
All right, cool, no problem, we can do it. So so that's the first one. The second one is like, we need more people willing to do events that are like meaningful.
Yeah.
Events that have meaning. The events that actually the promoters that know what they're actually doing. Promoters that are actually promoters, not DJs.
Totally.
I'm not trying to say anything wrong about that, but I think there's a difference between like promoters and DJs. They need to be separate in some regard. If you think I'm wrong, it's fine. We can disagree. It's alright. It's alright. That's my point, because I feel like promoters need to be promoters, DJs need to be DJs.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's space for both. I think
Yes.
I think DJs. There are so many promoters that are DJs because when you're DJing, you want to create events, right? You want to do things around this music, or hey, let's do a breakbeat event or whatever. So yeah, I think there's room for both. But I also actually was going to mention we need more female artists in this world, but in South Africa. Like the one question I get asked so often with events is like where are all the female DJs, or we want to book them, and I think like we need more artists coming up that are female, that are doing cool things. I mean, there's amazing female DJs out there at the moment, but there's definitely not enough, and we need to support that as well, and make sure that happens.
Yes, 100% agree on that. 100% agree. I think the problem is, the biggest issue with that, I think, is people don't have the confidence. They don't have the confidence to be like, I want to be booked by this person. Can we do it?
Yeah. And I think as promoters, we need to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I think like we represent some amazing female artists at Tenfold, and they're just doing the best things. And we need to encourage that, and we need to support them, and we need to support their events, and we need to come and watch them DJ, and we need to create more platforms for female artists to have an opportunity.
That's why I mess with you guys so much, because like, not because you're doing incredible things and blah 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 blah, but because you stand on business, you understand what you're doing, and you are truly representing what needs to be represented, if that makes sense.
Sure. Well, I think we could be so much better. But I think like it's sort of like a call for female artists. If you're if you're coming up through the ranks, or you want to play sets, or get an opportunity, like we're here to help support that. And if there's anyone out there that needs a break, like, they must get hold of us. We'd love to help support them.
Imagine, like, I would like a break one day, to play for you guys one day. That would be a dream of mine. But
that's easy. That's easy, man. What do you mean? That's easy. We'll sort that out.
It's fine, but it's fine. I'm still planning my birthday, so it's fine.
We can sort that out. That's easy.
Yeah, that's fine. My other question to you is, what kind of legacy would you like to leave in the music scene?
Oh wow. Yeah. I think, geez, that's a big question. I think like if I like, and I'm definitely not going to be DJing forever, but I think if I look at some of the big artists out there that have done well and have a good reputations. I hope it's one that I've had a good reputation, but mostly that I've played good music and I've made people dance and people have had fun listening to my sets. They haven't been serious. It hasn't been anything else other than like we've had really good times listening to music or being alongside me. I think that's probably that it and hopefully I leave a legacy of somebody that's it's been transparent and honest and just been able to do cool things with cool people.
What legacy I would like to leave is two things. I would like to think that I've done something more bigger than myself.
Yes.
Two, I would like to think that people have learned something from me that is remarkably special. And yeah.
That's amazing. I want to. Can I copy you and use your points? That's cool. No, that's amazing.
Because I feel like you truly don't know how much this means to me, because you particularly, because I've been wanting to be a DJ for a long time, and I've been listening to you for a very long time, and the fact of the matter is like I do my shows and I prep every week, and every time, and I'm like, what one day I'll get him on the show. And I know you don't do interviews, so the fact of the matter is the fact that you took the time to actually talk to me, and it really really means a lot, because honestly, the fact